ACCA Ishita, and today I am going to share with you some important tips and tricks on how to pass your ACCA-APM exam. So without wasting any time, let's get to it. Now, I've divided this video into two sections. The first one is effective study and preparation tips, and the second one, exam day tips or the exam technique. Let's first come to the effective study and preparation tips. Now for APM exam, you have to learn about the application of your concepts to a particular scenario rather than just reproducing your knowledge. So rote learning is not going to get any marks in this paper. So what you have to do is, while reading about any particular concept or a model, think about how this will impact the performance management and influence the performance measurement of an organization. Also, you have to think about the implications of a particular concept for a different type of organizations. For example, for the public sector organization, private sector organizations, not-for-profit organizations, or the regulated industries. A particular concept will have different implications for all these different type of organizations. Apart from this, a particular concept will have different implications under different circumstances as well. So you must make sure that you know the implications under different circumstances as well, because your answer in your APM exam needs to be tailored to the circumstances that an organization in question operates under. And this is why question practice is very important for APM exam. For example, KPIs is an area which is frequently tested in your exam. Now you can be asked to identify the KPIs for the critical success factors of a company, or you could be asked to evaluate the KPIs in place for that organization and whether they are justified for their critical success factors or not, etc. Now, if you haven't practiced more and more for this, you won't be able to perform well in this area in your exam. So practice is must. Now there's a proper way to attempt your questions or practice your questions, like complete a topic or a chapter or whatever sequence you're going in, and then attempt questions on the basis of that yourself first. Then you compare them with the suggested answers. This will help you analyze where you stand on a particular topic. Then comes a crucial point. You have completed your chapter or a concept, you've attempted a question, you have compared it with the suggested answer. Now you should analyze or make notes for each questions. For example, you can write down what went wrong, what went right, where you missed something, or where can you improve. These notes will help you in two ways. First, it will help you retain the things better. Second, it will help you in quick recall during the revisions. Next up, we have the links of APM exam to other ACCA exams. First, we have the APM and PM exam. Since the APM exam builds on the performance management exam at the skills level, some underpinning knowledge of the performance management concepts is must to prepare better for the APM exam. These concepts include the ABC or the activity-based costing, then the budgeting, different types of budgets like flexible budgets versus fixed budgets, incremental budgeting, zero-based budgeting, or this activity-based budgeting. These concepts are must to know. And then the CVP analysis, risk and uncertainty, limiting factors, standard costing or the variance analysis, and planning and operational variances in particular are very important. And then performance measurement and control. These topics are must to be brushed upon before going for APM exam. The second one is the ACCA-APM and SBL exam. Now, many concepts are same in both the subjects. For example, Porter's 5 forces, generic strategies, pestle analysis, SWOT analysis, balanced scorecard, etc. But you have to keep in mind that all these concepts or models are examined differently in both the subjects. When on the one hand, SPL is going to test you on the basis of what strategies should an organization take or how to implement them, etc. On the other hand, APM is examined from the viewpoint of measurement of performance and performance management. So don't mix them up. Then comes another important point for preparation, that is past papers and mock tests. These are very, very important. You must attempt as many past papers or mock tests as you can, and you should attempt them in a proper exam environment like timed tests. Also, if you're sitting for exam from a country where there are computer based exams at the professional level as well, like for example in India, then you must attempt these mock tests or past papers on the CBE practice platform. This will help you in getting used to the tools, and then you can effectively utilize them for scoring more in your actual exam. Then there's a crucial point. Some students start doing past paper mapping. You must avoid it at any cost, because this is simply not going to work here in, I guess, any of the ACCA exams, because everything is important. They themselves suggest that you should complete the whole of the syllabus, no mapping, complete the whole syllabus and go without any predefined notion for your exam. Now, after attempting the past papers and the mock tests, you must go through the examiner's reports of past papers. This is very, very, very important, because through these you can get some useful insights as to what does the examiner want from you. These are very detailed and enlists what the examiner expected from the students and what they actually did. So in a way you can learn from the past mistakes of the students and make sure you avoid them. Also, if you're re-sitting for this exam, then this is like a gem for you. You can compare to what you did versus what was actually required in the exam, and you can reflect on that and then perform accordingly. Now, all the preparations are done, studies are completed, we are all set for the exam. So let's quickly come to the exam day tips or the exam technique. First up, I have 2 key tips that apply to almost all of the ACCA exams. The first one is requirements first and exhibits later. While going through the question and planning your answers, to effectively utilize your time, you must read the requirements first and then go to the exhibits or the information provided. This way, you will know what information is important for you and what is not. Then you can highlight it or write it down on your scratch pad or something, and then quickly refer to that portions only while writing down your answers. The second one is minutes per mark. Now, what do I mean by minutes per mark? It's pretty simple. So, APM exam is for 3 hours 15 minutes duration. So let's say we take 15 minutes to quickly skim through the question paper, planning the order of the questions, or just getting the information on which question has what requirements, etc. And then that gives us 3 hours or 180 minutes left for our exam. Now we divide these 180 minutes with 100 marks of our question. 180 divided by 100, this means 1.8 minute per mark is left with us to attempt our paper. Now, for example, a question, the first question is of 50 marks and it usually has sub questions, and for example a sub question carries 20 marks, so you can multiply 1.8 into 20, so which gives us 36 minutes for that question. Now make sure you stick to that 36 minutes and do not exceed your time for that particular question than 36 minutes. Another important tip for the exam day is that do not skip the company background or information. Many students just quickly go through the requirements and exhibits and completely miss this important information. But this is key to planning your answers, because for APM exam, your answers need to be tailored to the circumstances that the company operates in. And this information you can get through only the information or the background given. You need to know what does the company do, in which industry does the company operates, what are the circumstances under which the company operates. All this information will help you in tailoring your answers according to that particular scenario. Now that we've gotten familiar with the company background, next comes the requirements. You must read the requirements very carefully, because you should only answer what is asked and don't fall prey to what you feel like is asked. What happens is that we have attempted so many questions during our practice that while attempting our actual paper, we might come across some data which is similar to the questions that we attempted earlier. So we can make the mistake of jumping the gun as to this question is also asking the same thing. Do not fall prey to it. Take your time to read and then plan your answers. Now, while answering the questions, make sure that you're solving the problem that the organization in the question is facing, because otherwise the examiner is not going to give you any marks. Don't just reproduce your knowledge of any model or concepts. You have to justify why you're saying whatever you're saying. It is to be backed up with concepts but linked to the scenario in the question. For example, in the question, let's say you're asked to evaluate the performance measurement systems currently in place at the company. Now, while evaluating, don't just write yes, the systems are appropriate, or no, the systems are not appropriate. Tell them why it's appropriate or why it's not appropriate. And if you're suggesting that the systems in place are not appropriate, then they expect you to give a better suggestion to them. You should tell them what systems could work better for them under the current circumstances and help them to ultimately achieve their strategic goals and objectives. Last but not the least, professional marks. If you're sitting for March or June 2022 exams, there will be 4 professional marks which will be tested in section A. These are very easy to earn, so just make sure that you put a little more effort to earn these easy marks. All you have to do is just follow a proper structure and format. The first question, that is section A, 50 marker question, it is usually tested in the format of a report or an email. So what you have to do is that make sure you follow the proper structure. Write a proper and clear introduction of whatever is in that report. Then write proper headings and subheadings and group your points clearly under those headings and subheadings. Avoid repetitions at any cost. Write a conclusion. Always write a conclusion. They expect you to write a conclusion of your report. Be precise, clear and professional in writing your answers, and you can gain your easy professional marks. Now, if you're sitting for September 2022 exams and onwards, there are going to be 20 separate marks for professional skills, and there's a proper separate section in the syllabus with the heading professional marks. So we'll make another separate video, detailed one, in which we'll discuss about these professional skills marks, which will be there from September 2022 exams and onwards. So make sure you don't miss them in case you're sitting for the September 2000 sitting or onwards. So that was all for today. Bye bye, take care, and all the very best for your upcoming exams.